When I came back from a 3-day business trip, all my clothes were on the street, and my parents had changed the locks. My name is Armanshik, and that moment didn't just shock me, it rewrote everything I thought I knew about family. The flight was delayed. Of course it was. 3 hours sitting in an airport chair, half awake, half annoyed, thinking about nothing except getting home. Home. Funny how that word changes meaning depending on the day. It was close to midnight when I finally reached my street. Quiet. Empty. Streetlights casting that dull yellow glow on everything. Nothing unusual. Nothing warning me. Until I saw it. At first, I thought it was trash. A pile of bags near the gate. Messy. Unorganized. Random. But as I got closer, something felt off. Too familiar. I slowed down. Step by step. Heart starting to beat just a little faster. Not panic. Not yet. Just confusion. Then I saw it. My jacket. Folded inside one of the bags. The same one I wore last winter. The same one I left in my room 3 days ago. I stopped. Completely. Because your mind does something strange in moments like that. Tries to protect you. It looks for other explanations. Maybe someone moved things. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe. It's not what it looks like. But it was. I dropped my suitcase. Walked straight to the door. Reached for the handle. And turned it. Nothing. Locked. That wasn't unusual. So I pulled out my keys. Calm. Controlled. Still giving the situation the benefit of the doubt. Inserted the key. Turned it. Stopped. It didn't move. Not stuck. Not jammed. Just wrong. I pulled it out. Looked at it. Then tried again. Slower. More force. Nothing. That's when reality hit. Not all at once. But enough. The locks had been changed. I knocked. Once. Twice. Harder. Amy. I called. No response. I knocked again. Abu. Silence. Lights were on inside. I could see shadows moving. So they were there. They just weren't answering. I stepped back. Looked at the bags again. Really looked this time. Clothes. Shoes. Personal stuff. Everything. Not random. Not temporary. Systematic. This wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. Finally, the door opened. Slowly. My mother stood there. Calm. Too calm. Like this was expected. Like I was expected. What is this? I asked. No greeting. No emotion. Just the question. She didn't answer immediately. Just looked at me. Then said, "You should have told us before making decisions." Decisions? What are you talking about? I asked. My voice still steady. Still controlled. Because I didn't understand yet. My father appeared behind her. Serious. Arms crossed. "This is not your house to come and go as you please anymore," he said. That sentence didn't make sense. Not logically. Not legally. Not even emotionally. "I live here," I replied. Simple. Obvious. True. "Not anymore," he said. Silence. Because sometimes, words don't register immediately. They just sit there, waiting for your brain to catch up. "What do you mean not anymore?" I asked. My mother finally spoke again. "You've changed," she said. "You don't respect this family." There it was. The justification. Always emotional. Never factual. "I was on a business trip," I said. "I informed you." "That's not the point," my father snapped. "Never is. When the real issue is control." "Then what is the point?" I asked. He stepped forward slightly. "You think because you earn money, you can do whatever you want." I frowned. Because now, we were getting somewhere. Wrong somewhere. But still. "What exactly did I do?" I asked. A direct question. One that required a clear answer. My mother hesitated. "My father didn't." "You refused to transfer the property into my name," he said. There it was. Finally. The truth. A few weeks ago, they had asked me to formalize the house ownership. Put it under my father's name. For security. For family unity. For reasons that sounded reasonable, until you thought about them. I didn't refuse immediately. I asked questions. Took time. Reviewed documents. 'Cause something didn't feel right. And then, I said no. Calmly. Respectfully. Clearly. I thought that was the end of it. A disagreement. A normal boundary. Something adults work through. I was wrong. You chose yourself over your family, my mother said quietly. No. I chose logic over blind trust. But explaining that now wouldn't change anything. So this is the response? I asked. You throw my things out and lock me out? My father didn't flinch. You left us no choice. No choice. Another familiar phrase. Used when someone doesn't get their way. I looked past them. Into the house. My house. Everything's still there. Except me. Open the door, I said. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just clear. No, he replied. Just like that. And in that moment, standing outside, looking at my own belongings on the ground, being denied entry into a place I paid for, I realized something important. This wasn't about misunderstanding. This wasn't about respect. This wasn't even about family. This was about control, and I had just challenged it. I picked up one of the bags slowly, not because I was leaving, but because I needed time to think, to process, to decide. Because whatever happened next wouldn't be emotional, wouldn't be reactive. It would be final. And as I stood there, under that dim streetlight, one thought became crystal clear. They believed they had the power. They believed they could remove me. They believed this house was theirs to control. They were about to learn how wrong they were. I didn't go back inside. Not after that. Not after seeing my entire life reduced to a few bags on the ground. I stood there for a moment, phone in hand, keys useless, because the house behind that door wasn't mine anymore, at least not in the way I thought. So I left. No argument. No scene. Just distance. That night, I checked into a small hotel. Nothing fancy. Just a bed, a desk, and silence. The kind of silence that forces you to think. Not about what happened, but about what you ignored before it happened. Because deep down, this didn't come out of nowhere. There were signs. Small ones. Comments. Decisions made without me. Boundaries crossed quietly. And every time, I let it go, thinking it wasn't worth the conflict. I sat on the edge of the bed, looking at my phone. No messages. No calls. Nothing. As if what they did was normal. Expected. That's when I opened my email, scrolled, and found something important. The property file. Attached. Saved months ago. Something I had almost forgotten, because I trusted them. I downloaded it again, opened it slowly, and started reading, line by line, carefully, because now, details mattered. And then I saw it. One line. Simple. Clear. But powerful enough to change everything. Registered owner. My name. Not shared. Not transferred. Not reassigned. Mine. Fully. Legally. I leaned back. Exhaled slowly. Because in that moment, everything became simple. They didn't kick me out. They assumed they could. I picked up my phone. Not to call them. Not yet. First, I called someone else. My lawyer. Hey, he answered. I need to confirm something, I said. Go ahead. I looked at the document again. Then said, if someone throws me out of a house I legally own. A pause. Then, what happens? Silence. Then a quiet, almost amused response. They don't stay there for long. I didn't smile. Not yet. Because this wasn't about revenge. It was about correction. And for the first time, since I saw those bags outside, I felt something shift. Not anger. Not sadness. Control. Because now, this wasn't emotional anymore. It was legal. And legal doesn't care who your parents are. The next morning, I stood outside the same house again. Same door. Same walls. Different reality. This time, I wasn't coming back as their son. I was coming back as the owner. I rang the bell. Calm. Precise. The door opened. My father stood there. Confident. Until he saw who was behind me. My lawyer stepped forward. Documents ready. This property is legally his, he said. Silence. Heavy. My mother froze. My father's expression changed. Not anger. Realization. I walked inside. No permission. No resistance. Because now, there was none. They hadn't kicked me out. They had crossed a line they didn't understand. And now, it was clear. Glowing star moral. Power isn't claimed by force, it's defined by truth. If you don't know your rights, others will assume control over them.